Përshëndetje nxënës të dashur, unë jam mësuese Bruna, mësuese gjuhës së huaj angleze. Unë sot kam përgatitur për ju temën për formën jo veprore. Fusha gjuhë dhe komunikim, lënda gjuhë angleze e parë dhe e dytë. Tema mësimore, passive voice. Today we are going to study the passive voice. Let's have a look at the formation of passive voice and the usage of active voice versus passive one. Here we have the formation of the passive voice. In the first case, when we use only one object, we have this structure, as in here. Subject plus verb plus object. For example, my friend had bought a present. The subject in this example is my friend. The verb is had bought, which is in the past perfect tense, and the object is a present. So, how do we form the passive voice? How can we turn the active voice sentences into passive ones? Have a look below. The passive voice is formed by using object plus verb be plus the verb in the past participle plus by and the subject. Now, let me explain to you. The subject in the active voice becomes the agent in the passive voice, which means the doer of the action, whereas the object in the active voice becomes the new subject in the passive voice. You should always pay attention to the main verb in the active voice. In our case, we have the verb buy in the past perfect tense, which is had bought. So we need to make use of verb be in this specific tense. Be in the past perfect is had been. And what about verb buy? How should we make use of it in the passive voice sentence? After the verb be, which is put in the right tense of the main verb in the active voice sentence, we use the main verb by in the past participle after the verb to be. As I previously mentioned, verb be is put into the past perfect had been, followed by the past participle of verb buy, which is bought. Don't forget to make use of by after this new grammar structure. So, a present had been bought by my friend. But you should always bear in mind that the verb to be is conjugated in the same tense as the main verb in the active sentence, and also according to the number of the subject, either if it is singular or plural. There we have another case of using two objects. When there are two objects in an active sentence, there are two possible active sentences and two possible passive sentences. In this second case, the structure of this sentence should be as it follows: subject plus verb plus the first object, which is the indirect one, plus the second object, which is the direct one. For example, the teacher gave students a book. You can notice in this sentence that the first object, which is the indirect one, need to be followed by verb be plus the verb in the past participle plus the second object, which is the direct one, followed by and the agent. So, the first object is students in the plural, and a book, the second object, which is a direct one, in the singular. By referring to the above grammar structure, we can notice this sentence: students were given a book by the teacher. Students is the new subject in the passive voice sentence. Gave is turned into verb to be in the past simple and past participle of verb give. And it is also followed by the direct object, a book, and don't forget to make use of the agent preceded by. Or we have another alternative, such as subject plus verb plus the first object, the direct one, plus the second object, the indirect one. Let us refer to the third example. The teacher gave a book to students. In the passive, you can notice this structure. The first object, which is a direct one, plus verb to be, which should be put into the past simple tense, plus the verb give into the past participle, plus the second object, which is an indirect one, followed by plus the agent. In the third example, we have another sentence. A book was given to students by the teacher. The passive voice is used in another case to say what we or people in general believe or feel. For example, many people believe that aliens are real. We can transform this active sentence into the passive one into different forms. First one, it is believed that aliens are real. And the second case, aliens are believed to be real. So, the fact that aliens are real is believed. In this case, the verb corresponds to the subject, which is in the third person singular. As you can see, it is believed, the fact that aliens are real. Whereas in the second example, you can notice that verb believe, used in the passive voice, is in accordance with the new subject, which is in the plural. Aliens. Aliens are believed to be real. We have another example. Many people believed that aliens are real. In this sentence, the verb believe is in the past tense. So, we need to put the verb to be into the past simple, as it follows. It was believed that aliens are real. So, only the first part of the active sentence changes. The second one stays as it is. Here we have another case of using the passive voice. Now, we may use them with the modal verbs. We need to respect this scheme: subject plus modal plus verb plus object. For example, we can bring the books. The passive voice is formed according to this structure: object plus modal plus verb to be plus verb in the past participle, followed by and the agent. For example, the books can be brought by him. So, he can bring the books. You can notice that the direct object, the books, becomes the new subject in the passive voice, and the modal verb stays the same as it was. But in this case, verb bring, which follows the modal verb can, is put behind this modal verb, and it is put into this form: can be brought by him, the doer. One more thing. When we transform a sentence from active to passive form, we change 3 elements: subject, verb, and object. And we don't change time expressions. For example, the server will send the code to you tomorrow. The code will be sent to you tomorrow by the server. Be careful of the subject and object pronouns when transforming sentences from active into passive voice. For example, she gave me a gift. In the passive, you can see I was given a gift by her. You can even say it: a gift was given to me by her. Here we have an example of the active voice in the present simple: I make a cake, which is transformed in the passive voice: a cake is made by me. Have a look at the present continuous tense usage into the active voice: I am making a cake. A cake is being made by me. Past simple: I made a cake. A cake was made by me. Past continuous: I was making a cake. A cake was being made by me. Present perfect tense: I have made a cake. A cake has been made by me. Present perfect continuous: I have been making a cake. A cake has been being made by me. Past perfect: I had made a cake. A cake had been made by me. Future simple: I will make a cake. A cake will be made by me. And the future perfect: I will have made a cake. A cake will have been made by me. At this point, we are going to have some practice on passive voice. You are given some examples into active voice, and you are going to transform them into the passive voice. Let's start with the first. Bad weather has delayed the trains. Charles Dickens wrote Bleak House. He broke his leg. We should invite the guests this week. You are going to turn these active voice sentences into passive voice. Take your time and let's check it out. You must have written these types of passive voice sentences as I have done too. The trains have been delayed by bad weather. Or Bleak House was written by Charles Dickens. His leg was broken by him. The guests should be invited this week by us. Do dëshiroja që të ndalesha tek fjalia e parafundit. His leg was broken by him. Çfarë ju kujton përveç se passive voice kjo lloj fjalie? Mund ta kthejmë atë në një mënyrë tjetër duke e transformuar? Mendojeni dhe le ta gjejmë atë së bashku. Po sikur unë t'ju them këtë formë. He had his leg broken. Kjo është forma shkakore, kur neve na shkaktohet diçka, një problem apo një aksident. Dhe kjo quhet causative form. Pra, nga passive voice, ne mund ta transformojmë atë dhe në causative form. Në rastet kur neve na ndodh një aksident, ne mund të themi në këtë rast, he got his leg broken. Por, causative form, ju mund ta trajtoni më vonë, ose dhe në klasat më të larta. Ky është thjesht sa për informacion. At this point, I have to thank you for watching and hoping that it was interesting, motivating, and useful to you. Goodbye and have a good time.